I never saw it coming. No one ever does, right? 1 minute, you're basking in the warm, welcoming glow of your monitor, chuckling at the antics of your favorite YouTubers. The next minute, your laughter freezes in your throat. The shadows in the pixels of the screen suddenly appearing too, tangible, too real. From the very first line of my latest upload, I felt it a palpable shift in the atmosphere. The buzz and ding of notifications seemed to reverberate ominously, a forewarning of the darkness brewing in the corners of the digital paradise I had come to love. I leaned back, rubbing my eyes as the video rendered. As an aspiring YouTuber, I had embraced this community with open arms, delving deep into its vibrant world with an unquenchable thirst. I'd planned to discuss the recent oddities popping up in various videos, a shadow here, a glitch there. But as I sifted through the comments on other creators' videos, my heart raced at the realization that these weren't just isolated incidents. With every video I clicked, I could feel them lurking in the corners, the edges of my screen shadows that seemed to morph and twist with a life of their own. A flicker of movement in the background of a vlog, a distorted whisper barely audible over a makeup tutorial. It was as if the shadows were calling out, beckoning to those who dared to notice. I took a shaky breath, shaking off the uneasy feeling pooling in my gut. I started recording, my voice betraying a hint of the fear that gnawed at my insides. Hey, everyone, it's Alex. I've been noticing something weird happening across a range of videos lately, I said, my voice echoing eerily in the empty room. The screen cast an unsettling glow on my face as I played snippets of the disturbing occurrences I had collated. Shadows darted in and out of frame, leaving a trail of cold sweat on my brow. As the video drew to a close, I urged my followers to share their observations, to bring to light any oddities they might have encountered. It felt like we were on the verge of uncovering something big, something that transcended viral trends and challenges. I hit upload, the progress bar crawling steadily to completion. I tried to shake off the gnawing unease, telling myself it was nothing more than a bizarre internet phenomenon. But as the notifications poured in, my screen became a canvas of horror. My followers shared instances far more sinister than I could have imagined, grotesque figures lurking in family vlogs. Whispers turned into screams in music covers. It was as if we had opened a gateway to a world where the darkness of the virtual space was bleeding into reality. As I scrolled through the comments, a notification popped up that made my heart stop. A message, devoid of any username, a cryptic amalgamation of numbers and letters, leaving a chilling message that froze my blood in its veins. You shouldn't have looked, Alex. Now, you're part of the game. With wide eyes and a pounding heart, I could only watch as the virtual shadows began to seep from the screen, the boundaries between the real and the virtual world dissolving, leaving me teetering on the edge of an abyss that promised nothing but darkness and fear. And as the room around me flickered, succumbing to the encroaching shadows, I realized the game had only just begun. I could feel my heart throbbing in my chest as I clicked open the message. The screen flickered ominously, as if warning me of the descent I was about to undertake. The message was cryptic, a jumble of words and unsettling imagery that seemed to swirl and change each time I tried to focus on it. Despite every fiber of my being screaming at me to step away, I couldn't. The whispers of the unknown were too enticing, pulling me deeper into its enigmatic clutches. With trembling fingers, I clicked on the attached link. It was as if I had entered the darkest corners of YouTube, where sanity seemed to have lost its way. The eerie silence of the night outside was drowned by the crescendo of grotesque sounds emanating from the videos I encountered. Shadows flickered across the screen, grotesque imagery intermingled with fragmented video clips that seemed to gnaw at the edges of reality. I pulled my followers into this spiraling madness, their eager responses fueling my descent. Comments flooded in, some curious, some horrified. I found myself at the center of a digital maelstrom, a community united in fear and morbid curiosity. The lines between investigator and participant blurred, as every shared piece of information seemed to pull us deeper into the abyss. As I navigated through the labyrinthine pathways of this digital hell, patterns began to emerge. A figure cloaked in darkness, shifting, ever-present, watching. It felt like the very essence of the internet had curdled into something malevolent, something that reveled in our fear, fed on our collective dread. My room felt colder. The shadows cast by the flickering screen seemed to stretch longer, reaching towards me with tendrils of darkness. Every click, every shared video brought more of the darkness into my world. A growing sense of unease settling in my stomach. The virtual and the real were no longer separate entities, but twisted and merged in a horrific dance that threatened to engulf everything. The community I had nurtured was now a frenzied mass, sharing sightings and experiences, fueling the growing fire with their fear and speculation. We were no longer just viewers. We had become part of the narrative, an audience entrapped in a play of shadows and horrors, our fears scripted by an unseen puppeteer lurking in the depths of the digital sea. As hours turned into what felt like seconds, the night outside my window gave way to an eerie pre-dawn gloom. The world seemed to have lost its color, swallowed by the shadow that now engulfed my screen. My room, my very being. I could feel its presence, an entity that had grown potent and real, fueled by the collective dread of a community united in fear. And then, as if a veil was lifted, a video surfaced amidst the chaos, a fragment that held the key to the identity of the entity we now feared. A face, a name, hints at a person who had once been real but was now part of the shadows. My heart froze as realization dawned. This was no longer a game, not a virtual chase. The darkness had found a foothold in reality, ready to claim its due. With shaking hands, I reached out to pause the video. But before I could, a notification chimed, breaking the oppressive silence. A package notification, an address eerily close to mine. I felt the ground slip away as I understood the horrifying truth: the shadow was no longer confined to the screen. It was here, lurking at my doorstep, ready to pull me into its dark embrace. The air hung heavy with the scent of decay as I pushed open the rotting door, every fiber of my being screaming at me to turn back. But I couldn't. My followers, the people who believed in me, urged me on from the digital world that buzzed incessantly in my pocket. I swallowed hard, feeling the weight of their expectations merging with the fear clawing at my throat. Footsteps echoed ominously in the deserted place that the clues had led me to a dilapidated building, swallowed by vines and time, hidden in the bowels of an isolated forest. The entire internet was watching, tracking my every move through the live feed I had initiated. My breath echoed loudly in my ears, a staccato matching the erratic beating of my heart. A voice echoed from the depths, a cruel whisper that promised nothing but darkness. "Welcome, Alex." It reverberated, the familiarity of the voice sending chills down my spine. The entity that had stalked and haunted us all was near, a realization that bore into me with an icy grip. With trembling hands, I raised my camera, the small lens seemingly my only defense against the darkness that threatened to swallow me whole. The corridor led to a room where shadows danced with an eerie grace, intertwining with the flickering light from the cracked bulb swinging overhead. And there it was, emerging from the pool of darkness, a figure both horrifying yet tragically familiar. A distorted mirror image, a manifestation of the dark corners of the digital world we had collectively nurtured and feared. It was us, me, the viewers, all of us who had let curiosity turn into an insidious obsession. It grinned, a grotesque stretch of lips revealing a gaping void. You created me, Alex. You all did. With your fears, your dark fascinations, the macabre hunger that the internet feeds. It whispered, a cacophony of voices reverberating in that one sentence. An amalgamation of every comment, every viewer, every creator that had become a part of this horrifying narrative. No, this couldn't be the end, not like this. A twisted realization, a grotesque reflection of our digital sins coming back to haunt us. I staggered back, my mind a whirlpool of chaos and disbelief. But there was no escape. The entity reached for me, an amalgamation of every dark thought and fear that had ever echoed through the internet, now hungry for the creator that had given it attention, given it life. I screamed, a raw sound that echoed into the void, reverberating through the live feed that connected to thousands of screens. This was our creation, our digital Frankenstein monster, nurtured in the darkest corners of the web. And as those cold, ethereal fingers wrapped around me, I realized the horrifying truth. We had blurred the lines between the virtual and the real, summoned a darkness that we couldn't contain. I had become the tragic hero of my own story, a cautionary tale in a world that had lost its boundaries. The screen went black, a chilling silence descending as the connection severed, leaving my viewers in a void of darkness. The eerie whispers of the entity, the last echo in a tale that had spiraled into a horrifying, tragic end.